Honorable Cherno Cham, former National Assembly member for Lower Nuimi under the APRC ticket, um, what influenced you to stood for APRC party, or what makes you to have the will to stood for APRC in 2007 parliamentary election?
Fine. Knowing myself, it was not a wish, but at the time and the type of job I was doing, I never wanted to be sacked because if I had rejected the offer, I feared to be victimized. After discussing with friends, I accepted to become the nominated candidate for APRC in 1997, 2007. After a second thought, I had wanted to withdraw. Looking at the nature and the condition of the government, I thought I could never lie. And if I don't lie at one point in time, I could be victimized. I accepted the offer, went into politics, and I won. Based on the fact that I have been principal of Berening Junior Secondary School for a period of 10 years, 6 months after my graduation from Sierra Leone. Berening being my own hometown, I thought I could have developed that school.
Which year were you appointed as the principal of Berending Upper Basic School, and which year did you left?
19, 1982.
1982.
1982 to 1984. I spent 10 years, 6 months.
1982 to 1994.
1994.
1994. Okay. From 82 to 1994.
Yes.
Okay.
I did my best to change that school, and my products today, some of them are ministers.
Who among them?
I mean, a guy like Queen Jammeh, Modun Njie, Defense. We are all students who passed through me. And after winning, I joined a National Assembly, took oath that I will represent my people on truth, without fear, favor, or affection, or ill will. The normal oath
Yeah.
that would make me an MP with a voice in the government.
Before taking the office in 2007, from 1994, Yahya Jammeh took over. How were you seeing the APRC government under the leadership of Yahya Jammeh from 1994 to 2006 or 7?
I was on the fence. One, he was a military man, and any civilized nation would not want to be ruled by a junta. But nonetheless, that was what happened. So I have to cope with the situation. But I was not wholeheartedly FPRC. And at that time also,
You were with which political party in heart?
and I never joined
Okay.
any. I was a professional, and that was my service.
Okay.
But after their approach, I decided to join. Based on reasons that fear dominated my thoughts too,
To turn them down.
to turn them down. This I never wanted to do, with the fear that I may risk my job. And as a family man, as a family man, I think it was better for me to cope with that situation. Although I was working for education as principal education officer for the fast track initiative. It was a project that was rich and the salary was attractive.
Now, you won the election in 2007. You took the oath from 2007 going to 2011. How was the Gambia National Assembly in that duration of the 4 years you spent inside the National Assembly?
Um, Incidentally, we came into the National Assembly because Yahya Jammeh had already forgone 22 of his candidates based on which I learned later on. They were involved, those 22 were all involved in visa scandal, offering visa to over 7 people, some 8, and the American government proved this. They were automatically dismissed
From the Assembly.
from the assembly. But they never disclosed it until when the House dissolved for the 1997 election. Sorry, 2007 election. That was incidentally how some of us were appointed to join them. The assembly that I joined also, almost 3/4 of them did not return because it was a bit radical than the one we took over from. And among the people, I was labeled as an opposition in disguise based on my contributions in the assembly. And this became the turning point when 2 ferries were ordered from Greece, Kansala and I don't know, Albreda.
There's another ferry.
This place where Kansala and Aljambu.
Aljambu.
But out of curiosity, I crossed to my home every time. I went to inspect those ferries, and I found on the painted ferry in another name, that is Sophia.P. Out of curiosity, I also went inside those ferries. The ferries, before I made my conclusion, I googled Sophia.P. Greece. This was what was inscribed on the ferries. Whilst I googled, I discovered these ferries were belonging to Gallia Holdings, an abandoned ferry service in the Greek islands. They were abandoned since 1998. No, 1998, 1980.
1980.
Yes, and they were one door. When I googled, I saw it to some friends in the National Assembly that these are derelict ferries. And the day we went to inaugurate these ferries, Yahya Jammeh was himself on board. While we were facing Jufre,
Who bought the ferries? Is it from the Ports Authority,
Ports Authority,
or from the government, or from the orders of former President Jammeh?
at Yahya Jammeh's approval, but he was deceived.
So he knows that these are the ferries bought.
Yes.
Okay.
So these 2 ferries, I looked at it when we went to test them. The whole place, the top floor was only the rack that was up. The rest were cabins. Then I wondered to myself, how can somebody hire a cabin to travel from Banjul to Bara? This became a nightmare. But I never commented until when we made a test ride with Yahya Jammeh himself sitting on board. By the time we were reaching Jufre, the ram,
From Banjul to?
James Island,
Okay.
sorry, to Jufre, Dog Island.
Dog Island. So you left from Banjul
Yes.
with the ferry?
Instead of going to Bara,
Yes.
I later came to know that there was no prepared landing place for those ferries because they were one-door ferries, like the wooden ferries that we had before. Thinking over the plight of my people and inspecting the canoe, I discovered that these ferries were for tourists, and the company that bought them, that brought them here, was under the supervision of one Mohammed Basi.
Mohammed Basi.
Mohammed Basi. Then on the eve of inauguration of those ferries, Parliament met, and we were selected, Nuimi, Banjul North, Banjul South, to the launching of that ferry. By the time we faced James Island, the ram with corroded chains fell into the water. Yahya Jammeh was dismayed, and I told him, where are we going? He said, let me ask those people. In anger, he abandoned his table and sat alone. Then he ordered them for us to return to Banjul. He never even read his statement at the ceremony. He departed. I went to the house. The following day was a session. When it was adjournment debate, I took my chance to describe those ferries and discovered that these ferries were in the Gambia at buoy number 2 on board a ship where they were painted. And when I asked, I was told that the ferries cost over $746 million.
More than 746 million.
Yeah, about
This
that.
Aljamdo and Kansala, each one of them.
Yes. I said this could have purchased a new ferry. This was at my intervention at the National Assembly. I said this could have purchased better ferries, this amount of money. I said, what could have made this possible? Then I criticized the ferries. The following Thursday, no, Yankuba Koli marched into the National Assembly.
Yankuba Koli, by then he was what?
Mobilizer.
In
National
APRC.
Mobilizer.
APRC.
Yes.
He was not holding any government portfolio by then.
He was mayor
Mayor.
of Kanifing.
Kanifing, okay.
He marched to me and dropped a letter to the clerk of the house saying that I was dismissed from the party. I said, why? The speaker told me, I cannot give you that answer.
Who was the speaker by then?
Bojang, Abdullah Bojang.
Abdullah Bojang.
Yes. And Tombong was the majority leader.
Fabakar Tombo.
Yes. I told him, he told me, well, take it in good faith. I said, but I'm elected by people. I don't think Yahya Jammeh has that the constitutional mandate to kick me out without explaining any reason. But it's not Yahya Jammeh who has written this letter. It was written by one Samba Gajigo, administrative officer at the APRC Bureau, but brought to me by Yankuba Koli. When Tombon told me to take it in good faith, the laptop that I have was seized from me by NIA officers on that spot.
At the National Assembly ground?
Yes. The laptop.
So do you recognize those NIA officers?
One is late now, called Sukuta Jammeh from Bakau. I said, why? He said, well, that is your, don't ask questions. Your best bet is to go home and take it in good faith, or else there may be something else. I fear that maybe I'm going to...
So meaning, the moment you were expelled from the APRC party, you lost your
automatically
seat.
lost my seat. But this was
the moment you National Assembly members you came in 2007, didn't you people take it upon yourself to change that section of the constitution?
See, the National Assembly was composed of half and Norths. The Norths were the people who are just popular in their area, pointed into the National Assembly, but they only stop in grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9.
So those people are just there.
Just to raise hands for any agenda that may come from with certificate of urgency from Yahya Jammeh. Even to debate, they will not participate, but they will participate in raising their hands up. All right? That situation went like that. I met then the Secretary General Joguba. He told me, you have committed an offense. I said, what offense? He said, when you are motivating the National Assembly to impeach the president, your questions and your statements are always meaningful. I don't think this party can work with you. I said, but you are not a politician. You are just Secretary General. He said, well, we will see to it. Then I wrote to the president that I did not understand that those people who might inspire you against me. No reply. The other reply I have made, the request I made was to get my gratuity.
To have your
Gratuity.
okay.
And they told me, Mamburen Njie told me I cannot communicate that to the president. I said, but you are Minister of Finance. This is my entitlement.
Mamburenja.
Yes. He said, well, I'm sorry, you are my friend, but I cannot communicate this to the president. The president has to instruct me.
Is it the current Mamburenja?
Mamburen Njie was Minister of Finance
Before.
before. So I said, well, let me take it in good faith. I wrote to the president, no reply, up till today.
So that was in 2011,
2011.
before even your parliamentary election in 2012. This was just after the presidential election, right?
I'm coming to that. I was dismissed and stayed without a replacement for 9 months. And the law is, after 3 months, the seat should be declared vacant. I wrote again to say 3 months have lapsed. I am in the 9th month now, and there's no replacement. So automatically, I consider myself as the genuine representative of the people.
Follow Nuimi.
Follow along. No reply. And I was advised by friends to put up the matter. Then I went back to education, and I was employed as a monitor. Regional schools, I go to visit schools, write reports, and other things. Up till today, I was not considered. Come Barrow's regime,
2016 or
2016,
2017. Oh.
yeah, 2017, I campaigned for them, went around with them. I was sidelined.
After the victory.
After from the election, after his victory, I was going around with them, but it seemed people even feared to associate with me. I wrote to Barrow, pledging my support and to get something that I will survive on. No reply up till today. Now, coming to realize my frustration and seeing what some other members from the APRC were swapping infuriated me and my anger developed. Somebody told me, I'm sorry, that is to, Barbaro is to be sworn. I said, eh? After Yahya Jammeh's resentment that he was not stepping down, the day Barrow was supposed to be sworn in, I met Seedy Njie, who told me that he was moved from Parliament and his nomination is ceased, but he's new Minister of Information. I said, but people, you are not going to spend long because Yahya Jammeh is going. He said, you will never witness that here. He will not be sworn in.
He said Barrow will never be sworn.
Sworn in.
He told you that in
That
front of
life,
people.
in front of people, some of whom I can name. Then on the day of the swearing, I went to the stadium to confirm what Seedy Njie was saying. I found Seedy Njie with army officers, with armored cars and tanks at all the gates of the National Assembly.
Assembly.
There was no swearing. I went back to him. I said, Seedy, you're a Jeffio. He said, but Seedy, yeah, I will go there. He said, well, I know that Barrow will not be sworn here. He stayed with those soldiers that day passed. That was not in the following morning. I was out of curiosity. I left Joshua to go back to the stadium.
Stadium, sorry.
Yes. There was no
Sign of it.
a sign of people living around that place. But when I was coming on board the ferry to go to that place, I saw people migrating, running away from the city and the areas of Combo. Then I asked a former member. He told me, hey, Seedy Njie has closed the stadium and soldiers have mounted checkpoints everywhere. Would you mind for canceling your going to Banjul? I said, for what? There's no state of emergency announced. He told me, Yahya Jammeh speak and Seedy Njie's statement is telling people not to go, not to dare to go to the stadium because Barrow will not be sworn in. The day Yahya Jammeh was also going, I was curious enough.
The day he was leaving the country, Equatorial Guinea.
Yes. I joined the former Speaker Ablai's car up to the airport.
Ablai?
Ablai Boja.
Ablai Boja.
Yes. Okay. I joined his car up to the airport.
So Ablai Boja was seen of President
Yes,
President
they were seeing of President Jammeh. Then I saw Seedy Njie with a handbag.
The same Seedy Njie again?
Yes. I said, Seedy, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Malabo. I said, Equatorial Guinea? He said, yes. I said, but Yahya Jammeh is taken out of here. He's going to Guinea. He said, no. Yahya is given asylum in Equatorial Guinea. Anyway, boy, I don't have time much to discuss with you. Shake hands with me. I'll go. But you do not see me here until 1 year or 7 months' time.
This is what he told you?
This is what he told me. I said, good luck. He joined the plane. And when Seedy arrived, I made sure I visited him because...
The time he came back again to the Gambia?
Yes, after 7 months.
Yes. And meaning what he told you the day he was leaving, that the same thing he did. He said 1 year or 7 months he'll be back.
I said, Seedy, you must have come good. And before you left Seedy, because he was a boy close to me and Coach Silla in the National Assembly.
That time he was also a member, right?
He was a nominated member.
In the National Assembly.
Yes, representing the youths at the National Assembly. I said, Seedy, you are back. Where are the dollars? He told me, no, when I was going, my gratuity was 1 million, together with the soldiers that were promoted by Yahya Jammeh. I had that 1 million. I said, but you are come back. They will give me out of a joke. See, the day he was going to the State House, he told me, man, I am going to stay in the State House here.
So the day you met him, that was how it ended?
Yes.
Okay.
But
the day he came back?
Yes, when he came back, I found him at the State House. Then we were preparing a tour with Barrow. I said, Seedy, you are here? He said, well, I'm here, and you will continue to see me here. I said, Seedy, you are a wonderful man, but I respect you today, from today. All along, we were there. Seedy never came out of that State House.
He was inside the State House?
This, he told me, Barrow is an uncle to me. I said, ah? I said, how? Me, I know your father, Njie Atris. How could that be possible for Barrow to be your uncle. He told me, anyway, Fila Emakyo. After that, Barrow came in, and UDP was making Barrow their own. I was called
By who?
by Ablai Bojang. He told,
Former speaker.
yes, he told me, I am appointed as ambassador to South Africa and I want to suggest you go with me. I said, South Africa, with the condition in my family, yes, and the condition is you cannot return to this country when we go to South Africa. Only on independence and emergency family problems will bring you down. I said, I cannot forgo my children for that long. And I went to Lawyer Dabo, then he was the Minister of External Affairs. He told me, anyway, I want to send you to Lamin Diba to make arrangements for you to be governor of North Bank. I said, this is a twist. He told me, no, no, no. I went to Lamin Diba and he told me, I've already given the position to one Damfa. I said, yeah, I said, fine. This is how I got frustrated and I gave up the idea of even following Barrow. Because I am seeing people who to me are very ignoramus. Because some I taught in school, some were my classmates in university, and I realized as these people also were sidelining me with a fear.
Even your students.
Yes, I'm telling you. As anybody I approached was trying to run away from.
Why?
It's intellectual jealousy. Some of them were my university mates. I can teach them because I wrote so many people's theses for them who are now chanting. If you
How were you feeling knowing that your own students are trying to sideline you?
they know my strictness and my frankness, I will not lie. I will not lie. Even Jammeh, I told him that at one meeting when the chiefs proposed that Jammeh should become king. I was at that meeting. I refused to talk. He pointed to me and said, Shortman, what do you have to say? I said, everything is well said. He said, no, I want to hear your version. I said, Mr. Jammeh, Mr. President, with due respect, you are already a king. Because whatever you say in this country is what is happening. So what? And you see, to be a king, it means a referendum. I said, before these chiefs convince you for this, sir, why don't you tell them to vote you 80% votes? Each constituency gets 80% for you. Then automatically you are king because it's unanimous. That 20% is unconsiderable. He never spoke. When we parted, we were in a line, shaking hands, going out. When I reached him, he said, I have heard you very well. That night, he gave me $20,000 and told me he was going to this place, Mecca. Can you wish me goodwill? I said, may you come back very safe and sound. And he took this FPRC.
Scarf.
No, they are this Asobi
Absolutely.
and place it on my DC. I said, take it and give it to your electrons. From Mecca, anytime we go for caucus at the State House, Jammeh will not even give me his hands.
To see.
Just to say hi. As members line up to give him their hand, he would not take mine.
When you reach, he will skip your hand.
He would not shake my hand. He would not shake my hand.
Now, Barrow came in 2016-17 under the coalition with a high hope of changes that the Gambians were crying for. but then you were not happy with the system again, with how they were treating you the time Barrow came into power. Now you are finally with the People's Alliance Party, Mr. Cherno Cham. What makes you think that People's Alliance Party is the best party to rescue this country?
One, Ibrahima, Ibrahima is a relative. Ibrahima, Ibrahima is a relative. Brought up by me, I was brought up by his father. We are family members. And I know Ibrahima's background. I know he's not going to be easily corrupted because Ibrahima is already filthy rich. I mean, somebody whose father has left money that they would not share because each of them have their own capital. I can name them, all these sons. They've decided to keep that money, whosoever is in need of developing business. Ibrahima being the first son, take an amount. When you do your business, you return the money to her. So I realized the father has played a very wise role in getting his family together. None of them would even take that money because each of them, the father made sure there is none of them who does not have his own 8 or 9 compounds in and around Banjul and Nuimi and even Dakar. I know the family very well. The father was my backbone during my campaign, and he was one of the people who initiated me to become MP of this. So, considering Ibrahim's interest, I would not judge it to be in a par with any other person. I have family love for him. I like his personal discipline and his charisma. He's very charismatic. Ibrahima is not quarrelsome. Ibrahima is not aggressive. Ibrahima is based on his business. Since he came from university, he spent about 23 years in America. He has never worked for government. And I can assure you, he is filthy rich, and he has been taking care of me with all my this predicament. Ibrahim, I will not beg. He will just sit down, call me, come for this, I have something for you. Go get my domestic needs all arranged. And there is nothing in politics above interest. It's only interest oriented. If you hear we borrow from any other person, you know that it is not empty we borrow. He has some interest based situation that they can get.
In case we are heading to 2026, one can say 2 years, some months of 2 years, few months before the presidential election 2026. What do you believe under the leadership of Ibrahim Tabora Mani and his People's Alliance Party? What can they achieve in this country in case they happen to win that election?
The idea I have, uh, I, I have been explaining to Ibrahim the name of the party, People's Alliance. He does not mind Ibrahim to allied with any other political party. Once your ideology commensurates to his thinking, you are welcome. But he is not for sale. I hope you understand by this. Ibrahim is not for sale.
Exactly, what did you mean by that? If I understand the
Now, to
listeners
give
might.
him money to abandon your party as some other people have done, he will not
So
do
we
that.
have people who have abandoned their party.
Of course.
Who are those people?
Well, I can give you uh, the Manjago man.
James Gomez,
No, the other man. Mobe Balu, I don't know what he is.
GPDP.
Yes. Then you see Ahmad Bah.
So Ahmad Ba also did this.
He sold his party. You know that that party is
NRP.
NRP. It's not functional. It's functional along with Barrow's party's ideology. Any sensible politician would not abandon your party for that party to decide where you put up your candidates, so as to just maintain the name. Those are no parties.
You have not been happy with the current National Assembly members, especially when it comes to the
The load.
vehicle that they bought for themselves,
It's
the increment
madness.
of their salary, their allowance, and all that. So you were once in the National Assembly.
Yes.
What makes you not to be happy with them? People might tell you they need vehicles to do their daily
Fine.
work.
We were giving vehicle loan. But before we that, we suggested buying vehicles from Mohamed Jah. The vehicles came up to the National Assembly, brand new.
How much were they costing?
Considerably around 5 to 600,000.
Okay.
With that, when we approached Yaya Jammeh, he said, "You take a new car, go and apply it to people who cannot get their food." That is crazy. He instructed Balajay, then the permanent Minister of Finance, to give us each $180,000
To buy a car.
to go and buy a car.
So he said $600,000 is too much.
Too much. Admit the fact that we are just going to be flamboyant.
So how did you feel at that moment after Jammeh toned down your
I
offers
mean,
of
it was
600?
accompanied with reasons.
So you accepted those
That,
reasons?
that we were 45 members. 45 members above 550,000. Calculate that. And our salary at that time was not above $7,000.
But different with your allowances and other stuff.
No, we were only given transport allowance. Transport allowance of 3,000. Sitting allowance not above 3,000. But your dress code was never part of your allowances. Yeah, I will tell you, ordinary people in the offices buy their dresses and go to work. Please do that. We thought those were genuine at that time. When your salary cannot, it's around 7,000 with your allowance inclusive, will stop you at 8,000, 9,000. How are you going to pay that car? 8,000 salary, because at the end of the year you don't get $500,000 per annum. Considerably this, but these people, what made me comment was the fact that you are not able to get in your lifetime $2.5 million. $2.5 million multiplied by 45.
Currently, I think we have 52 or 53 members, something like.
Huh?
I think currently we have around 50 something, right?
Yeah, plus the nominated members.
Yeah.
So how can you pay that? In order to baffle people, they said they have increased their allowances. They are giving dress allowance. They are giving transport allowance. I mean, it is from the farmers' money. How are you going to settle that, you as an individual, if it was based on your current salary? You will leave the house. Some of them may not even come back. All right? If it were in a situation where these cars are given to you, when you don't come, the next person takes over from you using the same car as ministers do. The moment you are out, you don't get those facilities anymore. The moment you are not also voted, those cars should remain for your successor to take it over. This was my point of argument. But it goes over it should be about 100 plus million, and the state is to pay half for you. The money from the state comes from who? It comes from the farmers, the poor people, you and I. So that privilege is wrong privilege. That's why I commented. I went to King's Radio and told the man I want to express an opinion. But since then, I never had criticism because I know the inside of the National Assembly. Even your this oversight function trips by committees, it's a lot of money. You enjoy that. And where have you seen Parliament recommending the closure of this or prosecuting this? It has never happened. It just come and then at adjournment debate, we visited Sukuta, this is lacking, government should do this. You should have made a decision. By the time you visit and you see something anomalous, when you come back, take a decision. You have an oversight function, a bureau that can even impede the president and can dismiss a minister. Why should you cherish corruption to that height? I call it corruption. Corruption, very wise corruption. This is why I commented. This is the situation I do. And I still will never forgive for me to work for 4 years, 9 months. I'm entitled to a gratuity, which is denied. I complained to this borough government. Nobody replied to me. TRRC came here, I wrote complaining. I never had my name announced to come and present my case. So I left it. So any other party whom I see is genuine. I not UDP, not NPP. I am in for a change, and I know Ibrahim can bring a change.
Finally, we have taken much of your time. Before I leave you, what final words will you have for President Adam Barrow and his government? What will be your final advice to President Barrow and his government?
That is fine. Adama as a person, I owe nothing odd about him. But I would say to Adama to watch around, to watch around. There are in civil service issues. There are opportunities. There are lobbies. There are genuine people. It is only genuine people he should look around for if he wants continuity. But the way we are going about, it seems as if the president is yielding to dictation from influential people, whom to me are not even qualified to be presidential advisors. This is my opinion as a person, very gentle, very mild, very approachable. But the scenario is a very quiet leader can be corrupted by influential human geniuses around you, and they pretend to be civil. No, that's my only observation about the government. Otherwise, if he makes it, make a change, I can make a change. If Ibrahim is going wrong, I will abandon him despite he is my relative and go back to where it is correct. Because I have an ideology that is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. This is democracy. We only say, if I offend you, it's not democratic. Democracy means only these three things from Roosevelt to the American War of Independence. This has been the station qualifying terminology for democracy. And mark you, I'm a student of history, English and history, and I read very well, very well, history of events, happenings, and history of governments up to the formation of the Commonwealth. I have, it's part and parcel of my studies, and I definitely think I have read my books. That's why people run away from me because they know that if you lie to me, I will tell you the fact. But my father tells me, even if you are going to be killed, say the truth, and that's my life. Otherwise, I'm a gentleman.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. That is Honorable Cherno Cham, former National Assembly member for Lower Nuimi. We are having a sideline of interview with him on this People's Alliance Party, in Wuli, under the leadership of Ibrahim Taboramani. Thank you so very much.